Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. All right, let me share my screen. Here we have Marcus. And let's share screen. Here we go. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so let's maybe discuss release content, right, to start with. So I took, by the way, is there any other topics on the agenda that we need to add? So I added the release content, which is the first thing we always wanted to discuss. Then I add some other stuff that we are tracking, but not yet, let's say, immediately focused upon, right? And then there are some other topics like, so we'll discuss the move of the CI pipeline to GitHub and then Talos or something like that, or maybe other items. Yeah, I just listed them from the previous meeting.
I want to discuss release versioning, because right now we seem to have an issue in data server, and we're using the last of the 3 version numbers, right? So the minor version.
Yes.
Major, minor, yeah,
not yet.
whatever. So what I'm proposing, shall we jump in, or should we just add it here to the list?
I think we should first add it to the list, right? Because we first want to discuss always the release content, and then we'll take it as a next topic.
Yeah.
Anything else from someone? All right. If not, then let's move. So release content. I think the first one we had logging. I think, Marcus, you reviewed the PR. There were still some issues from what I understood.
Yeah, I still added some comments for Alex to work on,
to have a look at,
or at least leave a statement about.
Yeah, so that's data server, right? So I'll link the PR here, so that's easier to grab next time. Which PR is that?
One before the last.
Okay. This one? Okay, that should be okay. All right. Okay. Then we have, so I'll leave this open, right? I think Alex is not yet back. I think Fabian, right? If I'm correct.
No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Then stream-based syncing. That was that's the thing you're working on, I think, Marcus.
Ongoing.
Okay, so not yet ready for it. Then sensitive data that's related to the GitHub move, right? So we merged it, but apparently there was an issue that our CI pipeline was not really working, and I tested with the wrong build, so we merged, but eventually it didn't work. So we should have catched it before, but this is this PR that we are. So we should merge this as soon as possible, I think, because this fixes the config server at the moment, which at the moment is broken. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll maybe jump into this topic here is that so today we had our CI pipeline running in some of the some of the workers were running into our own into the Nokia lab, right? And we believe that we have to fix this if we want to move to CNCF. We anyhow need to run it publicly. So that means that some of the tests could not or cannot be run on by anyone. So we wanted to change that. So I don't know, is Hans on the call?
Yep, I am.
Yeah. So I asked Hans to move the the CI pipeline to the GitHub side. I don't know whether we make progress or not on that.
Yeah, so most of the PRs are open. So I need to get a review on them, and then we can merge them in. And then everything should run in the GitHub infra. The only caveat is that for config server and data server, because that kicks off integration testing, we need to always apply the safe to test label before the pipeline really kicks off. And that has to do with external contributors. So basically, if someone forks the repo and then makes changes, there's always a security risk involved. So the label kind of is a security measures to make sure that we review the code first before actual testing occurs. So there's double redundancy. So first of all, GitHub will ask you to, if it's allowed to run these actions. So we will need to do that. Plus, then we will need to add the label as well. And then basically the CI pipeline gets access to the GitHub secrets, which are set to a minimum now. I believe CodeCoff needs some secrets or a token. But essentially then the CI pipeline can run.
Yeah.
And that's now all of them running on public GitHub runners. So what I did to solve the SROS issue was upload our SROS image or container image as a private image. Yeah, I've added the repos that can access that plus the users. So we'll still have to see what the behavior is when someone forks a repo and if it will run fine then. But yeah, that's still an edge case.
Okay. Could you add that to the contributors sections in these repos somewhere? What you just said, that we don't forget it.
Yep, will do.
Yeah. But so this PR is ready to merge this, for example, in config server.
Yes, so the config server one is ready, data server as well, and then yeah, I'll have to cycle through with Marcus to get a couple of reviews in. So basically, what it does is it removes all of the private infra or the registries and updates the runners on which it runs.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. So we can approve this, right? Yeah. Okay. Then we can continue. Yeah. Okay. We'll use the config server as a guinea pig, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. So that any questions from someone? I think it's overall, I think it's a good thing to do, right? That because then it means that the tests are anyhow public. What we want to do is, so there is still some guardrails. So if you are a maintainer of the so it's like this, Hans, that if you are a maintainer of the project, you have the access rights to run it. Is that that's the rule, I think, right?
Yeah. So if you're onboarded on the project, you should have access to kick off all of the CI pipelines. The security issue is resolving from if you create a fork outside of the org, then and then you create a PR. Basically, the change lives in your own environment. And then potentially, if then you could kick off runners, there's some risk for code injection and those kind of things. So that's why GitHub kind of nailed it down a bit with this pull request target. So by default, pull request only has read-only access. But obviously, in order to build a Docker image, and you have to write it back to a Docker registry somewhere, you need some write access. Same goes for secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By default, you don't have read-only access to those secrets. So yeah, there's some manual approval needed to make sure from the maintainers of the project to make sure that there's no malicious things happening in the code, and then everything runs fine, or should run fine.
Okay. All right. Then any other topic for release content? I think, Fabian, you had a small PR, right? So we can fix that. We can merge that in as well, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's really tiny. It's just
Yeah.
I just noticed that when I was looking something else.
No. Yeah. We can add that. All right. If no other topics, then that's it. So do we need to make a build? I think this one needs to be merged ASAP, right? Yeah, and it goes together with somehow these two, they go together, I assume, Hans, right? So we can test this with that, or test this one with this, basically.
Yes, so if we first do the sequence of the CI runners and then yours, so I don't believe they will conflict, so that should be okay. Then everything will be tested against the public runners.
Yeah, let's try to test the pipeline and use the 383 as a guinea pig.
Yeah. In that case, I will merge my changes into main.
Yeah.
Then merge main into your branch, and then merge it into approve the PR and merge it back into main.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. If you can do that, I appreciate. All right. Then release. Yeah. So if there's no other topic, Marcus, we are on your. Then we are on your topic that you raised.
Yeah, we've found, for instance, today that we have a bug in data server, right? So what you would usually do is release a new version with the same two version numbers, and then increase the last of the three numbers, right? Whenever you have new features, it's like, in our case, it would be 0.64.0. And if there's a bug fix for that one, it's 0.64.1. But we're only using the last of these three numbers. So my proposal is to change that. The question is how we do it then, right? If we would now release a new bug fix version, would we just like shift to the left and just go with 064.1, right? And then continue in that schema, or
Yeah, so the question is, I think the first question we need to ask is the project in the shape that we are ready? Because so at the moment we are still in 0, 0 space, right? So meaning we are not yet really released, right? So if you go to 0, or you should, in my view, then have 1.0.x, right? So 1 is the major, is your version. So it's major, minor, patch, basically, right? That's it's because we will use Semver semantics.
Yeah.
Right. So it's major, minor, patch, basically. That's the normal logic. So if you want to introduce that, I think you have to start numbering yourself from 1.0.0, and then you use minor versions. So you bump major when you have backward incompatible changes, right? And you could even bump it when you add functionality. So it's a choice you have, I think, in Semver semantics. So my view is we should use Semver mechanisms because they are standardized somehow, right?
Mhm.
And but given that we are still, we are still working on the foundation. That's why we started with 0, 0, right? See, this is the logic that they have, right? Major, you have incompatibilities. Minor is when you have backward compatible changes, and patch is when you have a fix.
Yeah, and that's why we still have or why my proposal is still to keep the 0 in front.
And so what is your proposal? So 0 dot
64.1 for the patch that needs to come out. Like the issue that we found right now has to do with multiple keys, and they would appear in the wrong order, wrongly ordered with the assigned values, right? So there's a mix-up. So we need to push out a patch release for version 64, or our actual version 0064. Right. So my proposal is in general to switch to O dot
X dot and then patch.
yes.
And you want to do a patch on the specific version. So that means that you have to create a branch, basically, right? Not?
No, I mean, do we do we want to have fixes that we backport? I don't see that, right? So it would.
But why don't you fix it then in main, basically? What is the versioning doing that we don't have today?
It would be a clear indication that 64.0 was buggy, and there's a new version out.
Okay, so you want to signal the bugginess of a certain load or build.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, if that's not necessary, if that's not appreciated, then I mean we can go with the actual schema.
Yeah, I
it's
don't. I
fine.
mean, we have to ask the people. I don't mind either way. It's just what do the people believe we should do? Because we had this in the past, right? So that we had tags that had a bug.
And
Right?
if they
What we typically did so far is basically we released, if we had this case, right, we fixed it, right? And then in the docs, we released a new docs build because our docs is somehow a reflection of what works, right? The combinations that work or that we recommend. right? Because the problem that you have is that there is also dependencies between the different builds, right? Between the different projects or repos, right? So the way that we tracked that so far was by using the docs build, right? Now we still have an issue in the docs build, that MK docs version that we have. I mean, I think you have to pay for it, that it doesn't keep track of the versions. Although Git has them, we don't track them, right? So in other words, our release is kind of what is in the docs, but it's always latest at the moment. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that it's not just a data server problem, I think. We have to look at this as a whole, right? If that makes sense, what I'm saying. So today, a project, basically that is just two, right? So it's basically data server and config server, right? There is a dependency between them, right? It's the combination that determines our release, basically, right? So today we have here version 0.x.y, right? And here we have version 0.a.b, let's say, right? And that together makes a release which is 0.p.w, right? And today what we have is that today in our docs we only have, so what you see is latest, basically, right? So what you're proposing, Marcus, is that you introduce 0.x.y.1, right? But you have to do that.
Y is 1.
Y plus 1 or something like that, right? Or what? What I'm trying to indicate is that you update this. But what I was trying to say is that that's okay from a data server point of view, but you have to look at this as a whole, right? So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that if we have that fix, we have to update this, or this, basically, with this included.
Oh.
You see? So because nobody necessarily, most people, I have the feeling that they look at this thing here, right?
But so if Y or B changes, also W changes, right? And so
Yeah,
if X and A changes, V changes as well.
Yes.
Exactly. And so it should be clear to most of the users, shouldn't it?
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that what matters to most of the users is this.
Yeah, exactly. Because this indicates the data server and the config server version.
The combination, yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Marcus, we did not answer your question completely, right? But do you agree that this is what matters to most people? Marcus, are you still there?
Yeah, overall, maybe.
See, nothing prevents.
If I've had discussions with anyone, it was always separately which data server and which config server are you running. But yeah, I get the point that we want to craft releases.
I mean, if you craft the release, this one, if you create like an own release, then also, you know, the data server and the config server version, right? Because one release stands for exactly one combination of data server and config server. So it should be clear.
Yeah, the docs, let's say, tag is actually what matters. right, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But and then people are still able to pick their own pieces, right? So nothing prevents you from what Marcus says is I take this and that, irrespective of what is here, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but how can you avoid that? Or do you even
Well,
want to
you
avoid
cannot,
that?
you cannot, basically, right?
I mean, then you have the docs version, and the docs is what we are, yeah, what you have tried. And then, you know that's it's working with this data server and this config server version. I think then you're fine.
Yeah. But so Marcus, my view is the following. I mean, at the moment, yeah, we can start doing what you just suggested, right? But then we should do it across the board, but also for the docs, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we have to align it across the board, right? But what you're actually saying is that we also have a data server issue. We have to, if there is a bug, we have to fix it here, right? Now, the question to the team is the following: what Marcus is proposing is that we number 0.x.y instead of 0.0.x, right? That's basically what Marcus proposes, correct, Marcus? But my view is then if that is true, we should do it across the board, right? And I'm okay with doing that. It's just a matter. I think what I'm trying to say is that we should do that not in isolation, and that's also your point, I think, why you're bringing it up. But we should then do it across all the three elements, right?
If today we release a new version, no one really knows. Is it only about like just looking at December? No one really knows. Did we release a fix for anything, or is it new features that this drop contains, right? And my idea was to shift it to the left one digit to make it visibly clear to people that this seemed to.
The only thing that what you're introducing with it is to say there is a patch of a given version, right? But for example, if you let's say 0.1.2, right? And in the meantime, you evolve from 0.2.0, 0.3.0, 0.4.0, and you found the bug in 2, right? You're not going to go and 0.2.1, 0.3.1, 0.4.1, right?
But that's a matter of our own policy, right? So we only fix issues in the latest release, in the latest.
Yeah, correct. But what's then the point of doing .1? Why don't you just call it 0.0. So going what we have today to 0.0.5, and you basically say, okay, I fixed it bug.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. It was just an idea that I wanted to bring up. It's not well received, so I mean I'm not invested in that, right? So that's fine.
I'm just debating it. Debating it. My view is the following: from the moment you have a stable baseline, we really have to go down that path, or we have to go down introducing the one in the front, right? That's for me the major milestone that we should hit at some point. And then we have to look at all these backward compatibilities and stuff like that. But in the meantime, I believe it creates a burden for very little value.
I mean, actually, I agree with the approach Marcus could do. Like it better, to be honest, because then I see, if I understand it, then I would see, okay, is it like something new or is it something patched, right? So is a bug fixed or is it something new?
Okay, so what you're saying is that we should do a 0.x.y, but without a backward compatibility type of thing, and X is new functionality, right?
Exactly, and Y is like a patch, and there I can see, okay, was a bug fixed? And also, I mean, the optimal case would be that we have kind of in the release, we can see, okay, this bug was fixed, and this is why we have like y+1, right? And
Yeah.
also if x+1, this new stuff is added.
But so Severin, what do you do if you have both new functionality and patches? Not allowed, or?
I mean, in this case, to be honest, I would just increase the x.
Okay.
But I would kind of list it that this new feature is added, and also these bugs have been fixed.
Yeah, but we are not doing a release note at the moment. I mean, I have in config server, I introduced that, right? I am doing that.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to suggest that we should do that because it's very helpful. So for a user, then you can see, okay, this was fixed, or this is a new feature, and so you probably know, okay, this, for example, in version 0, oh, it didn't work, and then you see, okay, there's a patch, right? And so you install just the patch.1.
Yeah, correct. So what I started to do in config server is I keep track of these type of things, right? You see?
Yeah, exactly.
But I
Then,
still have the change log, but you can say if there is a fix, you can actually indicate it, right? So because at the end of the day, if you, my personal view is at the moment, I think we are basically, where is it up? So we are basically saying, look at this log, right? But I think many people have no idea. You have to look to the code what some of these things are doing, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would just be nice if you have a list where which features have been added or the most important features and stuff.
Yeah.
So I like the Cilium release management a lot. And so there you have like the summary of changes.
Yeah, that's what I try to do in config server, and then we have to do it as a whole, right? So we have to. So I keep. Yeah, someone is raising his hand, or not, or. Oh no, you are just sharing the Cilium, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But okay, I mean, what I'm hearing is that people see value in adding this number, which for me is fine, right? It's just, but what I'm trying to say, sometimes it's going to be blurred, right? If you have both.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it will only be very visible if it's just one patch that you did, right? Everything else will be bumping X.
Yeah, that's correct.
But if there is value, let's do it, right? I have no problem with it. So Marcus, let's do it then, and then from now on. But we should do it across the board, right? So let's do it across the board. Yeah. All right. Any other view? Okay. If not, then we close. So basically, I think I have to say, if new functionality and patch, X will be bumped, right? Correct? Is the new schema. For zero.x.y is a new schema for versioning, right? Is it clear what I'm writing here? And patch X will be bumped, and patch is 0. Does that make sense? Or is that clear enough? Okay, then let's do it. Then other topics are must statement validation and sensitive data. This is really to include data server plus config server, right? Let's say sensitive data logic, right? But we do that. I think Marcus is focused right now on this thing here mainly. So we'll once he is ready, we can take this, right? Okay. And then I had, so the last topic that I added was Talos. Did anyone try Talos in the meantime or not?
Yeah, I still have my Talos cluster up and running, and we still have the same issues. To be honest, I did not have the time yet to see why it isn't working. So we had these caching problems. So this is like the last issues we faced. I will be in Italy next week, so maybe in November I have time to take a look at it.
Okay.
This is okay. Otherwise, someone else has to take over.
Yeah. Maybe Hans, I don't know where you are on the pipeline, but maybe could you have a look at this as well, just to see what is happening and create a log to see, to try to reproduce it?
Yeah. Do we have any docs right now as to how it's set up?
I think we should just take the Talos document as is, right? I even believe I would like to add it also in our, because Talos is free, right? So you can use it.
Yes.
So I would like to even include it in our CI pipeline, if I'm honest.
Can you help me out there, Hans?
Yeah.
I can send you the comments how I create the cluster and stuff, and I think then it's more or less the same to install the components, right?
Okay.
So just write me a direct message and I can help you there.
Yep.
Because once we have it in our CI pipeline, it will be there for everything, right? That's the beauty, I think.
Yes.
Oh, if you can, please share it on public. I just also try to do it.
Yeah, sure.
The Talos? Yeah.
I mean, I have just like a getting started how you install Talos and then add Cilium with Helm to it. I can share it with you.
At least description what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that would be great. Yeah. It should be fairly straightforward from the docs, by the way, to get it running.
Yeah, to be honest, it's only a few comments and then you have a cluster up and running. So obviously there are two modes right now. I'm installing it and using Docker, but you also can do like a own virtual server, right? So running Talos. So I'm running it on a virtual machine on Docker, but you also can do like directly Talos.
Like instead of kind as a Docker image, you can run Talos, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is how I'm using it right now for my for different software. And at home, I have a home lab running it on bare metal with the Talos image directly, like the Talos Linux.
Yeah.
So both is possible.
Yeah. Okay. But it should be fairly straightforward to do, I think. Yeah. And you use multiple workers or a single control plane?
So for me right now, I'm only using one worker, but it's possible to use several of those. So we have both setups.
But can you run it without a worker?
I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure. So usually you have like one control plane node and one worker, but maybe you can remove the taint and then it's possible just to have like one node.
Okay. Okay, because that's how we run kind right now, although kind also allows workers, right? So, but
I think it should be possible. But the end, it's just like if you have one node or two nodes, and I think it's just like the taints they add, right?
Yeah, typically it's like people. Do you allow to run external stuff onto that device, that node? Yes or no? And that's all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do it, and then because then it's also covered in our CI and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I will share the resources this week directly in the public channel.
Okay. All right, and that's it. Any other topics from someone? If not, then we can close the call.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Yes.
Seems